Hello, everyone. It's Shelley again, and welcome to number 12, episode 12 of SNOWED, the Michael Snow is a Fraud story. So, at about this time, we're now into early 2020. And again, I ended off with Mike's money was still not unlocked. His audit was still happening, and the boat sale was just dragging. And I guess, that was all because of COVID. So, that was all very convenient for Mr. Snow. At about that point, he decided to alleviate my stress and get a trucking job. So that was good because up until this point, the only money he'd brought into this relationship was what he could borrow. So he did have a few jobs that he either, quit or got fired. I'm not sure which, but they didn't last long. And then he did start hauling cattle, actually, for a company here in town. He then decided that it would be in his best interest to purchase the truck. So to purchase something that large, you do need collateral or something to put up for security. And he had nothing. So again, this is where I come in. I had a lot here in town that I owned outright. I paid cash for it. My son was to build a home on it, and I put that up for security because, at this point I was really grasping at straws. I needed money to come in. I was really hoping against hope. At this point, I think I was gambling. So there you see, that's the truck that Mr. Snow owned, and I'm sure there's a few women who will recognize that truck that have been in it. You'll see this is his shop also that I was paying for. You can also see there's me. I had been in the truck. I did go on trips with him as well. What I didn't realize was how many other women also went on trips with him. So now that Mr. Snow is driving this truck, he's decided that wouldn't it be fabulous if he just drove the truck? He's going to make a ton of money because truckers make good money. And then he's going to buy another truck and put another truck on, because when you're an owner operator, you make a lot more money. And he would do up charts and, you could see the money, how much, the expenses, he had some proof. He had some solid proof. So, he decided he needed to move forward in this trucking business. He needed an investor. There's somebody in my life that I'm very close to, and they would rather not be exposed, and that's fine. I understand that. Mr. Snow approached that person and pretty much convinced them that, going in with him into this trucking company would be in their best interest. So, and you do have to understand how well Michael Snow can talk the talk. So this person was very interested and, drank the Kool-Aid. And I get it. When Mike hands you a glass of Kool-Aid, you drink it. So Mike instructed this person to open up a numbered account with the government, as well a bank account, a joint account with 2 credit cards and a line of credit. That happened. Well, that is exactly how Mr. Snow likes to roll, because now he had access to $30,000 in a line of credit and 2 credit cards, which he proceeded to use. And for business purposes, of course, promising the entire time that he would be soon making a ton of money. It wasn't long after that Mr. Snow, and he was bringing in money at this point. A pittance, but he was bringing in money. But it was going to come. It was going to come because, he was on a roll, and pretty soon they were going to have a fleet of trucks. At this point, Michael Snow decided he needed a Harley. And so he also convinced this person close to me that it would be in his best interest to finance said Harley. And, it would be like a business kind of thing. Just until the money started rolling in, and then he would pay it off in full. So it wouldn't be for very long. So don't forget about this Harley, because we're going to be revisiting that in future episodes. This is the Harley with Mr. Snow sitting on it. And this is indeed the Harley that he convinced somebody else to finance for him, no matter what I said and how much I begged him not to do this, because it was a bad time. He did it. Again, a photo of the Harley. Beautiful bike. I don't ride, but beautiful bike. You can also see up in the air there a very expensive drone that Mr. Snow also bought on my dime. At this point, the highs and the lows, the roller coaster that I was living on was really taking its toll on my mental health as well as my physical health. My knee was starting to really give me some trouble. I had arthritis, and I was no longer able to afford things that I used to take for granted, such as supplements, vitamins, and any other thing that could ease the pain in my knee. I was no longer able to pay for my yoga and strength training classes. So actually driving this truck didn't last very long. Mr. Snow does not really like to work a whole lot. He'd tell me that they didn't have loads for him. And he would basically sit on the couch, drink heavily. Again, like I said, he was drinking upwards of a 26 an evening. And for the most part, he would come, I would get up for work at about 7 in the morning, and he'd come in to crawl into bed. And so we were leading total opposite lives. He was just living in my house at that point. And what he was working and bringing in for money was a pittance compared to how fast the debt was growing with interest. And so it was weighing heavily on me mentally and physically. And when he was working, it was really basically just so he could go on trips with other females, I was going to call them random females, but they're not random, because some of them he was actually in relationships with. I do know that now. I guess one of the bright spots during COVID for me was that I was actually very busy with work. It was a busy time for me. So I was making money, but I was literally throwing money at whoever was screaming the loudest at this point. I was behind in bills. This had never happened to me in my entire life. I still have a few minutes on the clock, and I am done what I wanted to say for episode 12. So I just thought I'd just point out a few other items that Mr. Snow purchased with my money. These musical instruments that I don't know that he doesn't play. The clothes on his back, I paid for those. So as much as I tried to not sound bitter in episode 12, and I started and stopped numerous times because I know I was sounding that way, I am. I guess I'm not going to lie. I am. Stay tuned for 13. It's coming.